1.
Hello, food fam. This is the Walk and Talk podcast, and I'm your host, Karol Fiadini. Today's special, we have a Michelin-rated chef on the program. That is the chef, Michael Collantes. And we're podcasting on site at the Karol Hotel in beautiful Clearwater, St. Pete, Florida. If you haven't been to this property yet, get here. It's top notch with all the amenities you expect from a Tribute Portfolio hotel. I must tell you that your dining experience with Chef Thomas Parker and company will be top tier. Let's dig in, but first, attention chefs and food buyers. Are you looking to improve your proteins program with quality and service by the best in the beef business? Reach out to Peninsula Food Service. With 25 butchers on staff, their services will dazzle you and impress your dining guests. Peninsula is the largest Creekstone farm distributor in the Southeast United States. Let the gang at Peninsula Food Service cut your beef burdens away. Ask about their dry age program. Look them up at peninsulafood.com. Chef Jeffrey Schlissel, my man.
How you doing, bub?
How the hell are you?
I am fantabulous.
All right, forget all that. What have you been cooking? Jump in. Tell me slow.
I don't know if I want to say it because I got this guy to my left, man. It's like, I don't know if I have quality up to him.
It doesn't matter. If you're 2 inches tall, you're 2 inches tall. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow, 2 inches.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where we're going to go with the program today.
Yeah, you already kind of started.
Well, that's why I'm here.
From the ground. All right, go.
All right, so I just did this tasting with Cullen up at the park over in Sebring. They came up, the farmers, Rich and Colleen, and we did a 4-course tasting. And we did a elote salad, which totally different from what you would get in a street corn. So we put it all in a salad with some microgreens. And what was really cool, we used ají verde, which is going to be the sauce I'm coming out with first for the co-packing side of things. The next course was really neat. It's the classic French champagne and cantaloupe soup, but we smoked the cantaloupe first. And as everyone was eating it, we put a little plant-based foam on it, and it was infused that with champagne and the little pistachio powder on top. And both Rich and Colleen looked over at me like, how did you get it taste like salmon? And I'm eating it, I'm like, oh, that's that taste I'm tasting. But it was 100% plant-based. There was nothing to it. It was just the cherry wood and the olive oil interacting with the cantaloupe after it was smoked with the salt and a little bit of the vanilla. Everything kind of like went together and really kind of jived together. Then the last course, the entree course, was grilled ribeye, spinellis, gotta have the spinellis, little chimichurri, smoked watermelon and tomato salsa. And then we had some grilled veg to go on that. And then for the dessert, which we did, is like a campfire blueberry cobbler. And that was smoked first. Then we took them and compressed the blueberries with bourbon, Meyer lemon zest, and a little bit of vanilla. And then had that compressed for about 2 days.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. And I've got some left over for Veronica, and I have some for Paige, and I might have some more for you guys.
All right, look, here's the deal.
Maybe
right,
Thursday.
First of all, first things first, okay?
Where's your tasting?
I saw the pictures, okay? And where's my piece? Okay, that's it. All right. Look, let's get Chef Michael. Now, he is from Soseki in Orlando, Michelin-rated. This guy's a badass chef. Welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now, so how did you like that description there?
It was sexy, man.
Right?
We got to do that, right?
Yeah. Last thing I'm cooking is smash burgers.
I mean, I'm okay with that too. And what are we talking about here?
No, I opened a spot near Daytona Beach, and it's so funny how a good burger makes your day and a crappy burger. I mean, I've never had a burger that's unedible, but just a good smash burger, crispy edges, good amount of salt. We Big Mac sauce it. We reverse engineered the Big Mac sauce.
Oh, you did that?
That's, and American cheese. I mean, it's just, we call it slutty food. It's just slutty food.
Can I be...
You feel dirty, you want to shower afterwards. That's what I'm doing.
Can I
right
be
now.
a whore for you? Because that sounds
You already are.
Amazing. No, I mean, like, first of all, look. So, I've been in the food business for about 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So I was on the restaurant side for a little bit, but most of my tenure was on the distribution side, right?
Also known as the dark side.
Right. So, but I've been, so that's the life on the road. You're always driving. So
Right.
it's not that I always have time to go to like great places, sit down and enjoy a meal. It's usually drive through. And at the end of the day, you begin to have an affinity for some of those fast food sort of places. It just is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So you're telling me you reverse engineer. I want to get in on this action. Can you do it again? Can you reproduce it?
It's great, man.
Can you do it?
You know what the common misconception about Big Mac sauce is? There's ketchup in it.
Yeah,
There's no ketchup.
No kidding.
Paprika for the color, right? Chip?
Yeah.
And a lot of pickles, man. So it's so good. Yeah. And mustard. And most people hate mustard.
Let's just pack up and let's go make these things.
John's ready.
We got to do a side-by-side comparison.
Johnson. All right. So someday when we actually when we get out to the restaurant and we do some things together, that will be a segment.
There it is.
Can we do it?
Just a good smash burger.
Yeah.
Super crispy edges. Not caramelizing your onions ahead of time. I went back, right? You know, your chefs try to it's easier for you. No. You need that kind of. I'm from Jersey, right? So it's that steamer style. You throw it on raw. It's barely cooked. Some it's burnt. You know, that's what it is. You know.
I think the problem with burgers though is everyone has their own opinion of what a burger is like their best.
The best burger.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I've had an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah.
The only way to have that is animal sauce.
And yeah.
Or animal style.
And I used to have an affinity for In-N-Out burger, and now I'm like,
Right. You ever have a Whataburger?
Yeah. Oh wow, I love a Whataburger, man. Yeah.
Out of Texas, yeah.
Yeah. Dirty Pleasure is like a luggage full of White Castle and in a dirty motel by myself, like in the middle of Hoboken. Like,
I think we should try to do some AI artwork on that and see what it comes up with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it. Because that sounds amazing. You know what I mean? It doesn't, you know what? Dark, dingy. Wow, they haven't painted in 25 years. I don't care.
Well, I'm here in Tampa, and we did this event. We did this event with Burns and Haven and all that for Burns Fest. I'm asking every server, I was like, where do we go for something dingy? Like, all we kept saying is, where's the Dirty Water hot dog spot of Tampa?
They don't have Dirty Waters.
But like, where's that gnarly taco at 3 a.m? Like, where is the spot here?
And what did they tell you?
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. So, by the way, FYI, everyone out there, Dirty Waters are the best. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the way to. And when you say that here, not many folks understand what that is.
No. They think I'm crazy.
Yeah. Dirty Water? What's that?
I want a Dirty Water hot dog.
Yeah. Describe a Dirty Water hot dog.
Dirty Water hot dog is hot dog cooked in water that's been pretty much there since 6 a.m. when the vendors get out there, and all of that consomme.
That's a really nice way to
consomme
toxic waste
tube of emulsified pork. It's just delicious.
It is fantastic.
And no ketchup.
I can go.
No ketchup.
I can.
We fired chefs for having ketchup.
There's a debate to be had there because I can do. So for me, I can do no ketchup. I can do ketchup. I can do ketchup mustard. That's it. I don't want anything else. I don't want relish. I don't want anything else.
Where you at with that, Jeff?
You guys are talking about Dirty Water hot dogs. I was out in Vegas last year, and there's a place called Hot Dog. It's Haute. There's 7 hot dogs on this thing, and I'm like, I got to open this thing because there were so many different flavor profiles on each one. We landed on, I think, Saturday. I think Sunday I didn't know about it. Keith and Matt Jackson were like, oh, my God, you got to try this out. I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
What were the hot dogs? What was it about?
Just everything. The way they toasted the bun a little bit, the way they pan for our griddle the hot dog so it got charred on the outside a little bit, and they steamed it as well. And then the toppings, that's what really made it. They had like a green sauce with fried onions and then arugula, so it wasn't just a hot dog. They kicked it up a notch. And literally, I had one hot dog. I remember everybody back in the kitchens, I was like, I don't mind spending this much. It was like $80, and I don't remember how many people we fed, but they were like, where is this? I'm like, got to go across the street
for hot dogs.
For a hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm a hot dog purist. Okay. So I'll do with 0 but
Yeah.
I do like the ketchup, man. I mean, you gotta have the freaking ketchup.
So what do you like about your hot dog? Is it snap? Is it the crunch? Is it the meat? What is the profile you guys
Snap.
look for?
Yeah, I like the snap. I like the snap, the purity of it.
And I like a
Potato
little bit of
buns.
that.
I like a soggy bun.
I was just gonna say I like a little bit of that
Soft.
dirty water,
Yeah.
that oily water
Yeah.
in that bun. Absolutely,
Excuse me, consomme.
consomme for sure. And I can get down with
Star
that.
Chef here is consomme.
Of course. You know, and I love it when the vendor's cleaning up behind you. It makes it really high level.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Give the best experience possible.
Buy the hot dog, the pinches are swarming around you. I mean, that's just part of the experience, you know.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so how the hell are you feeling about this whole Florida Michelin? You're one of them. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I work for a lot of chefs who won Michelin stars and chased it for a while as a angry young 20s chef, and to do it now in my late 40s or late 30s with the team and in a way that's we think is sustainable, and did it in the way that just the way that we want to do it. I mean, who would ever think in Orlando or Florida they would show up? And it came to a point where we opened a year before Michelin, and we stayed the course. It was during COVID. We didn't know what we were doing. Can I just be really real? We didn't know. We just opened a 10-seat restaurant and said, okay, this is what we're going to cook, and we changed the menu every 30 days, and we just did our thing. And sometimes we'd be full to the brim in the beginning, and then literally before Michelin, there are weeks we're getting into summer, and there are weeks where maybe 2-4 guests for the whole night, like scary stuff. And I turn to my wife, I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do, And Michelin comes, changes everything. We've been fully booked since June of last year.
Is it like that?
Incredible.
Is it like that? Like you kind of get you get knighted, right? And then everybody just shows up.
You're part of a group of less than 300 restaurants in the country, of a guidebook that's been here for over a century.
So when that gets announced and it goes out,
Yeah.
how many of your celebrity chefs or that tier of chef, your Michelin rated, your beer, all these high end cats, how many of them actually come to the restaurant? Or how many reach out? Is there like back chatter?
None. No, I'd say afterwards, you meet a lot of people. Like I met a lot of people at the event. People I'd never, brushed shoulders with. Guys who've won Michelin for many years, and now they've, and you're in this little fraternity brotherhood of chefs. That's, because everyone says, Michelin doesn't matter. Well, Michelin doesn't matter until you've won it, and you can say it doesn't matter. And like for me, it matters. It changed the whole trajectory of our restaurant, of our company, of our chefs. How we're, it's not the end all be all, but you're silly to think it doesn't affect your business in some way. A lot of people did all right, we got the Michelin, we're full to books. Let's open the floodgates. Let's, quality goes down. You start doing double the numbers or whatever. We just said, well, we couldn't. We had 10 seats. It's like,
So
Well, you could close that, look for another spot, and open something bigger if you wanted. But you don't want to.
Actually closed the extra day for the betterment of the team and to provide a better service. We closed the extra day.
You heard that, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's great.
So that's actually taking into account the actual team, which is what they need to do, and plus that you actually save labor too.
Well, I mean, it's stupid to think that Michelin, you win a Michelin star and it's one chef on the stage. There's so many hands. There's so many farmers, vendors. There's so many people involved, and I celebrate that with the team. We actually that night we snuck the whole team into the actual event. We closed the restaurant. One that closed the restaurant said, all right, we're doing Michelin. You guys go to the bar at the hotel. Either we're going to be drinking because we're sad or we're happy. Either way, we're drinking. And so I shut the restaurant down because we were fully packed with 2 people. And 2 guests for the whole night. And so I said, okay, let's just do it. And then I just snuck them I was like, hey, let's get everybody in here. And I got to, when they announced it, it's all of us together getting to celebrate.
That's awesome.
The guys have been with me from the beginning. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's admirable, man. And the reality is, same with like what we're doing here. Without the team, there's no show.
There's no
it just
show.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So you mentioned something a moment ago about how some of the older Michelin chefs who've been around a little while, did they have you like try to chop flour or go empty the hot water from the coffee?
No, I've never had that. You know,
No?
the great really.
See, this is the things that should happen. I feel like there should be some more camaraderie, and I think you know what I mean.
I think the problem is
It'd be cooler.
Yeah, but I think that there's a lot of ego and nepotism within the actual community in the industry itself, and a lot of times where chefs see another chef achieving something, they get jealous, where it shouldn't be that way. I mean, listen, I anybody that gets a Michelin or any award, I think, or reward from anything, I think they should be congratulated for it, and it's a huge opportunity.
It's a huge opportunity. It's a huge blessing, but it's also they don't see the struggle in anything, right? We don't see what it took to the road to get to where they're at.
Nobody
we see
knows
the results.
Nobody knows. You know, it's
Yeah.
funny. All right, so
No one wants to walk those shoes, man.
No, of course not.
I don't want to do it.
It's funny. Before you came in, we were in the green room. We are talking to Chef Parker from here, Thomas and I said I never really wanted to go for a beard. I've always wanted to go for. I never wanted to go for a Michelin. I always wanted to go for a beard. And he's like, yeah, I was the same way with beard. And then we started talking about it. I'm like, listen, if I can get hey, you did a great job kind of thing, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Because that's what inevitably that's what we're doing. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not reinventing anything.
No,
but to be shown for your craftsmanship by like the Michelin star, that's a huge honor.
Oh, 100%. I mean, to me, that's the top of
That's the Oscar.
that's the top of what we're doing as chefs day in, day out. And you see I've seen a lot of my friends achieve it. I've been a part of teams that's won it or sustaining it. And it's a different breed. You're really that 10-20% of, like I said, 300 restaurants in America, 300 restaurants in America that have a Michelin star. And you're in a room with a bunch of guys, bunch of gals who are trying to achieve the same thing with the same standard, with the same level of passion. I think any young chef needs to go stage at a place like this, see the difference, see what, and there's nothing knocking, I have fast casual restaurants. I opened a little, burger, fried chicken joint on the beach, stuff like that. But to experience it, to see what it takes at that level, to see how my first day at Masa, when I was supposed to be the chef of the place, cut 4 quarts of scallions the Japanese way, took it all and said, you know what, this is great, family meal. After 2 hours, my hand's about to fall off, and it's just the level of expectation is the stress level's high.
Well, you're talking about masa in Japan, which is just a whole nother level. How they go about the philosophy of cooking, and it's more religion and more breathing, like the steps of martial arts. Like they walk, you have to go through them. I've heard that from chefs that study different cuisines. When I was working for a very famous chef, and I think you and I both worked for him. I read your bio. When we did sushi, Tonka, his sushi chef who was training me, was like, this is the way you got to do it. And if I washed the rice wrong, I started over again.
Yeah.
There was the whole thing. And I'm like, all right, all I'm doing is flipping water here. Rice.
The simple things now, after years of cooking, are the hardest to. It's just so much harder to execute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it's also like, what would you tell? Like, did you come out and go, I'm going to go for a Michelin? How did you go about wanting and then obtaining this one?
I thought, early in my 20s, I was chasing it, and then you just start cooking, you start living your life. You get married, you have kids. We opened this 10-seat restaurant. I did fast casual during COVID. I had no business doing fast casual. It is so hard. It is so, and I commend anyone in that industry. And
as somebody in the corner is now rolling their eyes and shaking their head up and
right.
down.
My wife is definitely like,
that's
we'll
the
never
boss.
do it again. It was so difficult, and it's the skill set and being you're wearing so many hats. You're the trying to do the taxes and all that stuff, man. And then we opened this 10-seat restaurant, and I was feeling the groove, getting in the groove of what we wanted to do. And we didn't really know, months later, Michelin announces, and we come to find out because we changed our menu every 30 days. That first year, 18, 22 courses every 30 days. Haven't repeated since 2 years. 400 dishes within the team created, and we are literally when they announced, they said a specific dish, so we knew. They announced it. They were with us 2 months prior, vetting us, and that's what I like about Michelin. You just have to be on your game every time.
So you wouldn't know. You would have no idea.
The inspectors don't say anything. It's not a voting. It's not a popularity contest. It's nothing. It's and I have it under high regard that from other Michelin star chefs. Cool. You have Picasso's up there. You have the most expensive glassware. Amazing. Who cares? It's about the food, regardless. Price dictates the experience, or the experience dictates the price. But Michelin only gives a rib about what's on the plate.
And it's funny you say that, because if you watch J5 out of Thailand, who makes that crab omelet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's literally a street vendor. She's 80-something years old, and that's all she does is cook this amazing. It's like this big, and it's crab omelet.
So I see you got the goosebumps there.
Yeah.
How is it that? How do they come up with finding? Is it just like randomly going out to eat, or they're on social media? I mean, they're following trends. Like, how are they coming up with?
I think it's being top tier restaurants in the town or buzz, and I'm sure they've got teams. This is 105 whatever year old company that's been doing this or putting out guides. They've got people that are doing the research and inspecting. And the funny thing, I got 10 seats. The first year, I almost remember every single guest came through the door. I know their preferences. I know what they want. I have no idea.
Where do you go from here though? Like, you got the rating, you're in there. Now what?
It's like kids, right? or you're getting married. It's like, hey, when's the second? Hey, when?
Right.
Oh, when's the marriage? It's like, oh, when's the third? It's always that.
I had to talk my wife into the second one.
Really?
Yeah. She says, and real side note, she's like, she's okay, let's do it. I said, okay. And then like a week later, she's like, no, we're not going to do it. I said, whoa, slow your roll here. You said she goes, you got 30 days. And I'm like, all right, that's challenge accepted. And number two, we have number two. So
Greg Louganis came to town.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Exactly. No. So anyway, what do you do?
We are just enjoying whatever fruits come from that at this point. It's opened a lot of doors. A lot of chefs at this point now have reached out. Guys like Ron Rattino, who I think will be one of the young. I hope he's an amazing chef. He's from Orlando, and Ryan, if you don't know, owns John and Bresca. They got 2 Michelin in under a year, and I think he's going to be the youngest 3 Michelin star chef in the world. He has 2 more years to pull it off. We're rooting for you, man.
Orlando.
We want you to have it.
Orlando.
He's in DC. But he's from Orlando, and how amazing would that be for this generation and to be for stateside chef? It's just opened a lot of doors for different collaborations and being on the bigger stage. We have a way bigger international audience that would never. I mean, I always say, man, we're in Orlando. We're not at a resort. We're not funded by Disney. We're in like a pretty shitty building. For a lack of a better term, it's pretty shitty.
We go for accuracy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Don't hold back. Yeah. Tell us how you feel about the whole.
We've got to talk to the landlord now, right?
I mean, the way we did this restaurant, my wife and I mean, we started with garage floor painted floors, like paint floors, no decor, nothing. We just, like I said, we had no idea what the hell we were doing. We just opened in 867 square feet.
Wow.
Our kitchen was 230 square feet. I don't know if we have the sushi bar where we do all of the prep. But yeah, that's it, man.
200 square feet. That's
being young and dumb and stupid and just ambitious. I mean, helps a lot.
You don't really need, and that's like a lot of times where restaurateurs go a little bit nutty. They end up spending so much money in the front end to make it where they can get to something, and you really don't need that much to achieve a Michelin or a James Beard.
What are you trying to achieve? Most restaurateurs are here to make money. You don't open a 10-seat restaurant to make money.
No. No,
That's for the love of the food.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is that you don't have a menu that's cheese the size of a cheesesteak,
Right,
or
right,
cheesecake factory.
Factory, yeah.
So you can minimize the amount of waste. You can really hone in the
business
skill.
model works, right? You have 5 people, 6 people, passionate, dedicated to the craft, but everyone has to show up every day. You know, when someone calls out, it's like you're in charge of everyone's. So it's really this balancing act of like, you know, high wire, you know, act, because it's like, all right, you do all of the sushi program. No one else could do that program. Or you do the beverage program. Who's going to take it? And there have been instances where like, oh man, what are we going to do? You know, it's tough, but also it's very manageable. Yeah.
Are you still changing the menu every 30 days?
More, we change the menu really often, every couple weeks now, but we've allowed ourselves to have things to evolve. And that was something I had to tell the guys, is like, we got to stop. And this is amazing. We got to stop. Things need to evolve to version 2, version 3 that gets better. So we've had, one of our longest ones was almost 6 months. And it was as simple as it could be. It's dry aged bluefin tuna. We just mince up shallots, smoked soy sauce, chives, creme fraiche, a fat layer of caviar. Because when we came up with this, I was like, sometimes you get caviar at a place and it's like a little like, here you go. We wanted people to feel, and it's in a caviar tin, so you feel like you're getting hooked up. So man, I want people to feel like, wow, they're getting 15 grams of caviar. They're getting hooked up on caviar. You know, 15 grams of caviar, $85 an ounce. So that's a lot. Yeah.
You know how many grams are in an ounce, right?
So back when I was younger, no. So
That's why I said that.
on your when you're talking about coming up with new menu items, right? You're coming up with a new dish or whatever. Are you allowing the team to kind of get in on that, or is it like you dart it out and let them?
No, if it was all my menu, it'd be a pretty shitty menu.
Okay, heard.
It really comes from, like, I'll tell you the process. So we started out with 7 farms locally, just going to every farmer's market 4 days a week. One of the team members would go, and then we get the list, and then we make the list. Now we're at about 44 farms within a 100-mile radius, within rotation. We get the list. We have a garden. We started doing pop-ups before we opened. It's an educational nonprofit garden 2 miles down the street, and we get to just use because we're only 10 seats, we get to use whatever we want from there, and that's how we get the list, we come up with a cool concept, and then
Is it so? It's like groupthink.
oh 100%. We spend a lot of time with each other. We have bunk beds in the back. We just all kind of like 7 dwarf it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's good.
Are you Snow White, or is it who's?
I'm dopey.
Okay, heard. Got it. So, I mean, right away, as we're talking, and, we've kind of maybe touched on this before, but I want to bring in our restaurant recipes crew into the restaurant and film some of this stuff, because I think it would be just beautiful.
Oh, great, yeah.
I just want to be there because I'm not really part of that, so I'm okay.
Well, you could. We were just at Slate last week. You couldn't. Listen, you were invited.
I know. I was too busy doing a tasting.
Well, I can't.
It was delicious.
I saw the pictures. But you could have brought.
I could have, but we're here at the hotel.
So
If we're at John's house, I would have brought food.
See, coming from like regular restaurants, and now you're doing tastings, you're doing private events. How much more? I mean,
It's a lot more fun because you know exactly what you're up against.
you know how many people have paid for.
Yep. Caterers have it. I mean, I'm not saying they have it easy, but they have it a little bit better because they know exactly the menu, how much food.
It's tough. I just did our first catering after 2 years open. Just a customer of ours, a guest of ours, wanted us to do a private event at their house, and I mean, prep from early morning till night. I mean, the boys are already out of the restaurant. I'm showing up at 1 a.m. trying to unpack everything. I mean, it's a one-day hustle, but it's good. Mm-hmm. It's good money.
Yeah, but it's a lot of, plus when you go off, there's so many other ancillary items. Like when we were on site, it's like just now setting up, we needed an Allen key. Yeah, Allen key. We didn't have one.
Yeah.
So we had a MacGyver, which thank God we have John MacGyver over there. Mm-hmm. So we were able to fix it.
100%. You always forget.
Oh, you definitely forget something. I don't care who you are.
So does everybody know that you have a podcast too?
Oh yeah, I have a podcast.
So I make awesome food plus.
Plus, we do a podcast in like the stew room of the back of our restaurant. Like literally in the back of our restaurant, we have cameras and microphones, and
That's how you met.
Yeah.
So that he came over and he was geeking out on all the stuff. I remember seeing him.
Me and my media guy. So I also own a media company that does digital media and content creation and just fun stuff. It's a medium for me to explore and have fun, and I like building businesses, I guess, or like being part of something interesting. And my guy Fernando's super talented, but also super just like he just loves this stuff, you know. And so when you like get excited off someone else's like passions and where they're at in life, it's like, oh, I just want to be. That's who I want to be around. Surround myself with guys who are just super passionate about whatever they're doing.
I try to explain to people that I am a mirror of whomever I'm with.
Yeah,
because at the end of it, if everybody's humdrum and down, and then I have zero creativity.
Yeah.
But if everybody's up and like, hey man, yeah, it's you can achieve and do so much more.
Just watch how much caffeine you give one of your people, though.
Yeah.
Remember NAFM?
Yeah.
You kept on asking me.
How
many 8 balls did I do?
I'm pretty sure you have a drug habit. I'm pretty sure
No, it's called coffee.
It's coffee. I know. Well, it's a good thing we don't test, right? You don't.
Well, no, I'd fail for weed. I'll be honest with that one. That's why he's dopey.
You are.
Yeah.
You're a chef, right? I mean, okay.
Part of the territory.
It's part of the
Wheels
territory.
on the bus go round and round.
How often are you putting episodes together?
We're putting. We were doing once a week episodes. Jesus. We just get people in and out of.
Where do you find the time to do that?
Well, that's what I was just about to ask.
I'll grab a guest and be like, "Hey, come back here."
Do you spend time with your wife? Is that why she's here?
Yeah, she's.
That's the only way you guys see each other.
She's my handler. You know, like she. I have a little buzz collar underneath here.
Oh, that is hysterical.
I see her pushing the button. I don't know what's going on there. It's
give me a little jolt every time.
No, because it's like this. It's like, it's like here, excuse me. Look at me. I have a Michelin restaurant plus a podcast. I do it once a week. Come on, man. Like, that's awesome.
Well, no, not only that, he's got another one where he's making smash burgers over in Dayton.
Yeah.
He's over at Burns doing the Burns thing.
Yeah,
and he's so chill. You know what's really amazing about this whole thing is that he's so chill.
Yeah.
If I were doing your life, I would be wigged out of my mind. But then I would probably have to hang out with you after hours. It lined me right up.
It
lines you right up.
That's called
you know
truth.
what?
Yeah, I hate to say that old actual what they say, like if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life kind of thing. I'm finding though now the most expensive we have in life is time.
Yes.
And what I spend my time with. And I'm not afraid to tell people now. I do consulting on top of all this. I travel to New York and Miami for different clients and stuff. I'm like, my time's expensive because it takes away from my kids. I don't even what justifies your price range? I was like, it's just
me.
What it is.
Yeah, it's called
you
me.
want me, and it takes away time from my kids or takes away from my family. Like, this is what it is.
How long
And I
have you
think
been
people
cooking?
have to do that.
How long have you been in the kitchen?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
So 20 years of that experience that somebody wants to get the better price
Right.
for all of the experience and
All of that.
all of the knowledge, and they want to take your knowledge and your experience
Right.
and they want to apply it to what they're doing, and yet they don't understand the value proposition that you actually offer.
You're forgetting one thing. That's what he's going to do right then and there. What you're forgetting is that restaurateur is going to benefit from him and his experiences tenfold down the years if they keep on doing exactly what he told.
Well,
so they make the money back tenfold.
I'll tell you
It's
this
not just that
about
one time.
consulting, which sucks. For any chef that wants to get in consulting, I'm going to give some advice. Make your money in the front end. You're a sponge that's going to get wrung out, and usually the flow of water happens really quickly in the beginning, and then you start drying off because you've given everything you've got to the consulting side. And guess what? After that, well, why do we really need to pay this guy this much? And I'm telling you that from experience, anyone who wants to get in the industry in this. But also these young chefs, listen, you look at me and you think, man, this guy, I put the time. Okay, I got yanked by the chef collar. I put the time in. I did the dirty job for a long time. I still do their job. I still, throw out the trash and mop the floors.
But they're not yanking it's not as aggressive as it used to be.
Well,
and I appreciate that because I was a hothead, and I'll be on this new show with Morimoto coming out, and a little bit of that came out there. a little bit of the hotheadness came out there.
I'm not against having your emotions show when you're in that sort of throwing a pan at somebody or all right, you can sure, and you can cross the line. There's a boundary there, but I feel like it might be too toned down nowadays. I feel like it should still be aggressive, a little hot in there.
It's a different.
Doesn't that make it fun?
Well, here's the thing. When I was at Robuchon, it was like, it's 25 of us. That's all for the same goal of winning Michelin. Now you go to most restaurants, and you've got the one or two guys that you're really going to push forward, and the rest are, mouth breathers like me. Just, like
Darth Vader.
Mini bodies. But, but you find those one or two people are still super passionate about the business. But, I just did that event with all these chefs yesterday, and it's the same thing across the board. It's just, it's different now. There's no, I don't know, was there a superstarness when you were getting it like, wow, I want to be the next Bobby Flay?
Yeah, because I'm so old, the guy who really did it for me, and I remember, watching him was Emeril Lagasse.
Oh, yeah.
So, when I was a kid, it was Julia Childs, and it was Graham Cure and Jacques Pepin. When growing up,
Lagasse really came like the rock star.
Oh, yeah. God! He was the one that really
set.
Yeah, those guys really set the bar for what we have today.
Right.
Do I appreciate when somebody goes through those things? Yeah. To have the time to go do Top Chef or Chopped or any of those. Do I agree that sometimes those people will go out and get a job and run a restaurant? No, because they might be the best cook, but they don't have the business side of it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's twofold. And to your thing about, consulting, I did that for about almost 9 years for major companies, so nobody had to pay me. And these guys were using some of the stuff I was coming up with, and I'm like, wait a minute, these are some of my recipes. So I thought to myself, like, if I can do this and they're making money, why can't I do it and make the money myself?
Right.
So that's one of the reasons why when I stepped away from the dark side, I went and started doing consulting as well.
And I think right out of culinary school back then, all I thought was, you're just going to be a restaurant chef.
Okay, wait a minute. What culinary school?
Valencia in Orlando, just a community college.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a big question for you guys. Is culinary school relevant? Is that, I feel school, and I was having this discussion with my wife coming over here. I said, school teaches employers that you're committed for 4 years to something, and then what they can already teach you, but it just shows commitment, so then they grab you. Do you think culinary schools?
Whatever she said is what I'm gonna side with. No, so here's kidding. No, but it's truth. No, so here's tell me if I'm wrong, Jeff. Mm-hmm. Here's how I look at it. I've hired and fired lots of folks. Okay, right. Some of them were collegiate.
Somebody doesn't pay.
Right. I'm not talking about here and now. This is like in my professional life. Not. So you hire and fire. You do your thing. And some of the people that you're bringing on board, degrees, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
But they don't have the experience, number one, and therefore their attitudes aren't exactly, they don't mesh well with what you're trying to achieve in a lot of cases. But then you have somebody that's been in the business for 5 years. They're learning. They've been through some trenches.
Seasoning.
Yeah.
They went through seasoning.
Yeah.
That's good.
And all of a sudden, they don't have a degree to show me, but they do have experience, and they know how to treat them. They know how to act, right? And therefore, they can perform and execute. I'll take that over a piece of paper any day. Mm-hmm. Granted, we're not talking about architecture, and we're not talking about like brain surgery.
Right,
we're, that's not what this is.
I don't mind brain surgery being on-the-job training. Just kind of
you know what I'm saying?
Figure it out as you go.
Yeah, there should be some sort of
like a YouTube class,
Yeah.
master
There's
class.
probably something,
Right?
Yeah.
$50-$60, you can take it.
I'll add to that too. Culinary school for me, I had already been in the business. By that time, I think it was almost 14 years.
See, that's an interesting perspective there.
So when I went to school, JW in North Miami, which was the North Miami General Hospital, I was the first graduate born there, believe it or not. And I just remember saying, like, we did classes where they would, well, you're going to be the chef and you're going to be the guy or the owner and you're going to be the chef and you're going to sit down and interview for the executive chef position. I'm like, I wouldn't hire any of these people because they're that green. My what it did for me was it gave me classic training.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now, we were just talking in the green room before you got to the green room. And I said, you know what they should do in culinary schools is teach basic HACCP, which is the HVAC rather, basic HVAC, basic plumbing, basic like engineering so you can do things without calling. Like if your coffee maker goes out, how to like make sure that goes back up and
That's
running.
interesting.
Thermal cobbler, that goes out. Or your thermostat goes out in your oven. It's not something I'm going to be working on and I don't know how to do. But my God, they charge you for time to come when you call. And then you're like, what's this $50 thing? Oh, that's my time to drive. Think about how much money, because we're not making as much. That's, I think, or even like we were talking about the CIA, Culinary Institute of America, they teach culinary French. So you can, if you wanted to do an externship, you can go to France and actually have a conversation.
Right.
That to me is more valuable than the actual schooling itself.
Right.
I think School of Hard Knocks is when you really start to learn it.
Yeah, but it's also how many guys are really doing classic French, classic techniques now. It's old guard. And you're teaching style of how to run a restaurant or a kitchen that now it's just so global. I mean, like, listen, sushi chefs, to be honest, off the cuff can make more money off the bat and and it's a little bit more comfortable and all these things and you can learn it in less time for American style sushi or the basic skill sets, right? And compared to being in a kitchen, it's a tough one. And then you're leaving $60,000 in the hole for an education that you're gonna go get paid $20 an hour in New York.
Yeah, think about it.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent maybe $20,000 on my education at Valencia.
And look
Very
at
valuable.
you got a Michelin.
Yeah.
You can reverse engineer your path, and it worked. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
don't want to relive that. shit.
nobody does. Nobody
one
does.
does, yeah.
Nobody does.
No, yeah.
So, all right. What's your podcast?
86 a podcast. 86 a podcast, yeah.
86 a podcast.
YouTube, Spotify, the whole thing.
Okay.
And you can go to your Instagram too. You can follow you on your
Yep,
Instagram.
absolutely.
Is it on your website as well?
Sure.
What's your
think
website?
So. MikeCollantes.com. Yeah, maybe.
I'm looking at your looking at your handler.
Yeah,
She's giving a thumbs up.
Yeah, she's giving it.
MikeCollantes.com.
She does look upset that you didn't know right away. All right, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there.
He did go and do a event last night, so let's make sure.
Yeah, you
That's
know
why he's
what
tired.
chef events are? They're a marathon in
After hours
stamina.
booze.
Stamina.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, after hours booze.
I'm
yeah.
surprised he's actually here.
Me too. Me too.
True story.
And earlier
And so
too,
was the
because you're like,
handler.
"Hey, can we do it like 2?" And I'm like, "All right." But then he turned around like, "Hey, how about 10?" I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I definitely underestimated that.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. No. It's hey, listen. This is like the judgment-free zone. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's like Planet Fitness.
Yeah. Something like, or I don't.
clunking, no
the
clunking.
opposite of Planet Fitness, really.
Right. Planet Fitness is a judgment-free zone.
Yeah, but
That's the whole
we
thing.
gain weight here.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
gain weight. We
Yeah,
don't.
some of us.
This is not.
That's my fault when I do bring food.
Yeah, well,
I'm very surprised. I met you guys. All this guy kept talking about was barbecue. How good barbecue is. I show up in your
You're
city.
not, that got no barbecue.
He's got
no barbecue.
Got no barbecue.
Listen, we're going to throw
Imagine-
it down at the house. We're going to do some stuff too.
imagine
I
how
mean,
I feel about this, right? Imagine.
if I had a good meat vendor and I can get some really good quality meat,
There it is.
You son of a.
I'll
Peninsula
just
Food
throw it
Service.
that way.
Peninsula Food Service in the house. I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, we can.
Next time we do, I'll give you a shout out. You
That'll
guys,
be
you
fun.
and the wife and the kids can come over.
We'll jam, man.
Yeah, I think you know what we should do is we should grab some product and go to the restaurant and have a good time. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll have to do it on like a Monday or something when the boys aren't there, but that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we're not going to crash.
Just middle service.
We're not going to crash your
Middle
service, bro.
service. Not a big deal.
And if we do, we're bringing cameras and everything, and we're going to make it epic. Okay, it's going to be like an epic hit the wall. It's going to be fun.
That would be cool to do an event with you guys, podcast while they're serving food.
We could do that. We
Yeah.
actually have the technology.
Yeah, we can do that.
No
The
kidding.
science is
He
available.
actually has a Wi-Fi cameras, so
We
we can
have
actually.
Wi-Fi. We could just run it. Well, I don't know. I mean, we could literally do it.
No, I
They're
have
serving food,
wireless
but they're-
feed. No, dude,
Well,
yeah.
wireless feed.
I have
Yeah.
wireless feed, dude. We go anywhere we want.
I don't know what even that means, but cool.
There's no cables, and they hook up and they transmit just like you would be on
Oh,
a TV
cool.
show,
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
like a newscast. And the guy's sitting there filming right in front of you.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Chef, it's kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, your setup's fantastic. I have a 98 camcorder that we're doing our podcast with.
but you know what?
But
It gives a
in
character.
now.
Flip phone?
It's in now, so it's like.
But it gives that character.
I think we.
Why is it so grainy? Oh, that's a 98.
98
camcorder.
It works.
Camcorder,
It's
yeah.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's great.
You know, it's like
Timestamp and everything.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
is it flashing?
The battery lasts 3 minutes.
you can't. Oh, it's pre Y2K, right? So it doesn't actually. It's stuck on 1999 flashing.
I still
It's-
have it with the little flip out. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
dear Lord.
Wow. All right, Chef. Here's So as we exit today, as we exit, go ahead and plug everything you're doing in your life.
Do we have
right
enough
now.
time?
You
I don't know. Probably not.
I'm tired listening to him.
MikeCollantes.com, 86 a podcast. Soseki, our first 1 Michelin star restaurant in Orlando, Florida. 10 seats. We'd love to have you there. I'm missing a bunch of stuff, but hopefully you guys will have me again.
Smash
Yeah.
Burger. You got Smash Burger, the
I
restaurant
got
over in the
Riverside Johnny's, a little Daytona by the water, fun spot to go to.
You got to thank wifey.
Oh, and my wife.
my gosh.
Absolutely.
No, the handler.
All right. Listen, I want to thank everybody for coming today. Chef, John, Jill, the whole 9 yards. I don't know where Veronica went, but she probably had to
outside
split.
in the green room.
Go check Chef Michael out at Soseki in Orlando. You won't be disappointed. We are out.